How are
This
you
is
doing,
amazing.
man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Just continuing to chip away at life, trying to grow every aspect that I can to add as much value to mine and the people around me, man.
Are you holding a guitar?
Yeah, I just got done talking about it in the last interview, so I was just admiring it, just getting my practice in.
We'll get to your fantasy stuff in a second, but like, are you good at playing the guitar? Like, you're
I
going to
am
play
not-
it right now.
I am not very good. I just started like 2 months ago, but I do have a little song that my girlfriend and she plays the drums, which
Right.
are right there. So it's our little music studio up here. We've been working on a single.
All right, can we hear a little bit or what?
I mean, I don't know if you can even. Let me see.
I love Ekeler. I already
'Cause
love
I-
Ekeler. I mean, listen, you're a great football player. 3 tutties last week. I mean,
appreciate it,
you're
man.
into fantasy football and you're holding a guitar. I mean,
That's right.
what's not to love? I mean,
That's right. I don't know if you can hear it because I think it dampens this. Let me see. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. So it's dampened. Let me try it. There's like some setting that they make it so like they can't hear like vibrations and something like that. Let me see if I can turn it off
Okay.
real quick.
You take your time, man. I mean, we're good.
Let me see. I think it's just
fantastic.
I think it's just a setting. Automatically adjust. Is it this one? Nope.
Where did your love of music come from? Your love of the guitar?
Man, so I've just always listened to rock music.
Yeah.
And hang on, I'm trying to figure out.
I
what this
distracted
is.
you. I'm sorry.
I know.
That.
Oh, that's suppressed. Okay. Now you.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, Ekeler. You have a great guitar name, by the way, Austin Ekeler. I mean,
Yeah,
you
there.
really
I
do.
know. It's unique, Just warm up. So the one I've made, it doesn't sound as great without the drums, but it's like it goes. It's like, and then it goes again, it goes around again, and then the drums come in, boom, and it builds up. Yeah. So
I love that.
So
I love
pretty
that.
sick. Pretty
Right.
sick. And another one I made real quick. This is
Yeah.
like the first thing I ever made.
You can play a whole set.
Oh, I messed it up. But yeah, it keeps going there. But just messing around a little bit, it's a little hobby I have on the side.
That's incredible. But that first song, that's you and your girlfriend, you said, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you actually want to listen to it, it's on my Instagram. You
All
can
right,
hear
we'll
the
promote that. Go ahead. Tell us where.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to, Mel and Mai's little, we call it a riff. So a little riff, you can go listen to it on my Instagram at Austin Ekeler. Go check
I'll
it
give
out.
you time to think about this, Austin. Say that again. Say the Instagram again. I'm sorry about that.
Austin Ekeler. Yeah, it's just my first last name.
It's his
Got it.
name, yeah.
No, but I thought he said something after that. I heard him incorrectly. I'm sorry. The
No, all
guitar.
good.
I mean,
All
he
good.
blew
All
my
good.
ears out. He blew my
Sorry.
headphones out.
Right.
Austin Ekeler with us on God Bless Football. I will give you time to think about this, but at the end of this, I want your top 5 guitarists of all time. Okay?
So I didn't even watch any guitarists coming up. Just a little bit of background for me, how I got into that. I thought rock music was the greatest. I never really got into the bands though, just really kind of just listened to the music.
Right.
And then going from college to pros, I was like, man, like I feel like I was having a conversation with my buddies one night. I was like, I feel like when you're rocking on the stage as a guitarist, like during like the opener or like coming out and everyone just going crazy, like that's like the feeling I get in the end zone. And so once I got to the pros, I started rocking the air guitar celebration every
Right.
time I scored a touchdown, right? Because that's just the feeling, like everyone's going crazy. It's just like, yeah, like it's so hard to do. And so it's such a special moment. And so that's where the air guitar celebration, then that's where I started getting into the actual guitar. So that's the story.
Ekeler, you rocked it 3 times last week. I mean,
3 times, man. Yeah, I know. I gotta get back on track. Getting in that thing. Yeah,
all right. Well, 3 touchdowns a game. We'll do that for you.
Yeah.
Austin's fantasy football show called Ekeler's Edge is on Yahoo Sports. We'll also talk to him about the Austin Ekeler Foundation. What are you doing with Yahoo, man? What are you doing with fantasy football?
Yeah. So, I mean, what I've recognized is fantasy football is probably the biggest opportunity for us as skill players outside of the actual NFL itself, right? Obviously, there's the opportunity of the actual platform, the NFL, the games, but like when you're coming over to the community aspect, the fan side, the biggest opportunity is fantasy. And that's because people directly are watching you, want you to do good, rooting for you. You're on their teams. They know who you are. They're not even fans of your team, but they're a fan of you individually. And so I've recognized that as an opportunity, and I wanted to give some type of appreciation and some type of more value to these people that are rooting for me, that are supporting me. And so I was like, I started doing it on my Twitch stream, which this is the studio. And then Yahoo got wind of it. It's like, hey, we'd love to start a show with you. So now this is the second season of Ekeler's Edge, where we talk about fantasy. People can ask questions, talk about picks, talk about life, talk about ball, whatever you want to talk about. And we'll talk about it during our podcast for an hour. So that's what Ekeler's Edge is. You find out.
I love it because most players, safe to say, most players, they're annoyed by the fantasy aspect of it, right?
Yeah. So you have to overlook the toxicity because there's a lot of it. You got people with money on the line, right? There's a lot of sports gambling and there's a lot of money in fantasy football. So look, people are going to be hot if you're not playing well, you know, if they're not, they don't think you're playing good enough or whatever to their standard, whatever that might mean. But for me, it's like, if I look through that, there's on the other side, so much positivity in there.
You can't play fantasy, can you? Like while you're
we can play fantasy. I have 6 fantasy teams. So here's what you can't do.
Ekeler.
You can't have personal gains more than $250 from fantasy football.
Right. But has there ever been a time where you're playing an opposing team and you have you're playing the Broncos and you have like Russell Wilson on your team and you're secretly happy that he's having a big game against you?
No. So typically I like to, if I'm playing against someone, I'll probably put him on the bench because I'm like, my defense is going to shut him down. Right. My defense got to shut him down. That's what I'm expecting. We're going to go out there and blow him out. What if your defense
found out that you didn't bench him? They'd be pissed off at you, right?
I mean, see, that's why you keep it separate, you know?
Well, okay. So how does this work? Because if I'm in a fantasy league with you, I would draft you just to trade you to you and have you overpay for you.
See, I wouldn't let my pride get in the way. I try to get myself, absolutely. But if I don't get me, no, it is what it is. It's all good.
Okay, so then let's walk through this scenario. It's championship week. You've made it in one of your 6 fantasy leagues, and the person you're playing against has you.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, look, you got to keep the main thing, right? And guess
fantasy.
What? This fantasy league is not paying the bills.
How big is the game he's playing in, Billy? Like, is it a must-win game?
So
his actual game.
If it's championship week, it's probably like the last week of the season. So you probably have either clinched or been eliminated from the playoffs at this point. So like what you do doesn't really matter that much in terms of the main thing.
Look, all my fantasy leagues are all charity based, so I get no monetary gain, but when you're dealing with personal finances, which comes from my play on the actual game field, then I mean it's a no-brainer. You know, we gotta get it done every week on the field.
Ekeler, I love you, man. You're us. You get us. You get what we're like.
I get it, man. I get it. I get it.
What's the team name, like the fantasy team name that you're proudest of?
Yeah, so I have the Fighting Eklers, and then I have the X Factors. So it's all play off of my last name, obviously.
Is there a guy that's taken ahead of you or was taken ahead of you consistently headed into this year where you're like, hey, what the fuck, man? I'm better than that.
Not really, because shoot, I think in my leagues I was going like number 1, 2, or 3 overall. So I was like, dang, people are taking me that high. It was kind of crazy for me.
What leagues are these, Austin? No offense. What leagues are taking you first overall?
Billy in my league, he went number 2. He went number 2 in my league.
I went number 1 in one of my leagues. I traded up to number 3. Right. And someone took me. Yes. Cause I was like, I'll drop to number 3. And then someone took me number 1. They're trolling me. And so like, you got to realize like everyone in my league, like I know are these like fans that have won an opportunity to play in my league. So like there's a bunch of bias, obviously. But okay, Billy, what are you saying, man? Hey, RB5 right now. I'm chipping my way back up, bro. The season has just started.
3 weeks to get a touchdown. What are we doing?
It did, man. Look, it was a rough start. But I'm still probably scoring more fantasy points overall than the backs of you guys. So I don't know who you got on your team. Who you got?
I had Jonathan Taylor last week, who was a disaster for me. An absolute disaster.
I got Derrick Henry, man.
Okay. So right now I'm sitting at RB5 and I just scored my first touchdown last week. So what does that tell you, man? I'm still getting the reps. I'm getting the opportunities. And guess what? They're going to start coming. We're finally getting into a rhythm, I feel like. So yeah, get ready for more.
How are we feeling this week? What are we thinking here? Is this if I'm doing like a weekly fantasy, is this the week? Is this your week? What do we think here?
Bro, I mean, I got to tell you from my perspective, I mean, you're not going to like the answer, but every week has to be my week. That's the mindset for myself. It has to be. That's what it is. Like, imagine me going into a week like, oh, this is going to be a rough week for me. Absolutely not. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I got to go in here have the best game of my life, because there's so much that rides on this. Some people think that, oh, this is only for my fantasy, but for me, it's for my livelihood. It's for my career. It's for my reputation. It's for my family in the future. It's for my pay. It's for all the people that have fantasy. It's for everything. There's so much that rides on me playing well. If I don't go in here and have the best game of my life, I let so many people down.
I'm sold. I just took you right now in DraftKings.
Right. They're playing the Browns too.
Yeah, 22nd. This is gonna be a good week for you.
So, listen, if you were gonna pick a week not to do it, I am playing against you in this week. I'm just saying, I don't make a lot of money. You do, like. Who's the guy that's more into it than you?
More into fantasy than me. I don't think there's in the NFL. Absolutely nobody. In the NFL. Nobody.
Yeah, because I believe it.
I don't think anyone actually understands the actual opportunity in fantasy football that there is. It's the exposure is worldwide, especially if you're one of the top players. Like, I have people from Germany, Argentina, like all these that are like supported. Like, hey, I hope you do well, man. I got you on my fantasy team. Like, that's so special. That's so rare to find. And so, how would you not, as a player, want to have that type of effort going into that industry? Right. It's free advertising for yourself. You can promote anything you want, your journey, anything. So nobody.
I think most players would say the reason they don't want it is because they don't want to deal with the negativity, the blowback if you lose them a game. Like you've experienced some of that, right?
Absolutely. The first 3 weeks, Billy's already coming in here. To me right now,
Billy's
man.
already coming out here. Right?
I deal with it every day. Every day. But guess what? You're in the NFL. You get paid millions of dollars to play a game. Get over it. You cannot be soft-skinned or you can't be thin-skinned out here because someone on a keyboard's telling you that they didn't like the way you played. You probably should have played better then. You probably didn't even like the way you played. And so that's how I take it. Like, look, you could try to tear me down. You're never going to put more pressure on myself than I put on myself. Like, I put the most pressure on me. You will never whatever you say will never affect me because I'm already in my head. I'm already trying to get myself better. I know if I have a bad game. So that's where I stand from.
Because you care so much, I'm going to draft you every year moving forward.
Yeah. Let's go, man.
Wait, Austin, I'm wondering, of the 6 teams you currently have, how many of those teams have you on it?
2 of them have me on it.
Okay.
And I think one is 2-2 and one is 3-1.
Right.
So
if you have the first pick, are you taking Austin Ekeler?
Absolutely. I have to take myself. I have to.
Really?
That's the only thing I can control. In fantasy football, I can control one thing, and that is myself.
You have an unfair advantage over everyone you're playing against.
I do. I have a direct impact on myself.
Did you disappoint yourself the first 3 weeks?
Absolutely.
2 weeks.
I need to get in the damn end zone.
You ever play against Justin Herbert and he calls a play like on the goal line? You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, just give me the ball.
So when I'm in the game, not ever does fantasy football come across my mind. Like, you're so focused on your job that it's never like that.
Do you ever find yourself, speaking of Justin Herbert, though, do you ever just find yourself just gazing at his beautiful hair? Because I find myself doing that all the time. He is beautiful, that guy.
I have been telling him lately, like a couple times actually in the past couple of weeks, I've been like, bro, that flow is getting long, man. It's because now he's got like almost like the emo boy where it's like it hangs in front of him, then it's like just like right in front of his eyes, and he just keep it in front of his eye. I'm like, okay, J Herb.
Yeah, but don't get in his head because he did that buzz cut one time and that was a disaster. That didn't look good at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's going back to that. Was our strength coach that actually gave him that haircut.
Yeah, so, fire that guy.
Man, like you're in California. There's thousands of people that can professionally cut your hair, and you went to the strength coach.
Yeah. Oh my God! Wait, the coach cut his hair?
Yes. That's our strength coach. Yeah.
Tell him to knock it off.
What's going on over there? You have doctors puncturing people's lungs. You have coaches.
He was a rookie.
Hairs.
He was a rookie. He didn't know.
Wait, Billy, they also have a coach who goes for it on 4th down all the time. Have you ever sat there, like just between us? There's no one listening, Austin. Okay, and you're like, man, Coach, fucking A, man, stop going for it. Don't go for it from here in this spot of the game at this position on the field. Have you guys in the huddle ever said, what the hell is coach doing?
He was a rookie as a head coach too,
Right.
and he had this demeanor that we're going to go out there, we're going to get it done, which was super aggressive. But I will say, it's definitely pulled back from last year to this year. So there has been some type of change, regardless, if he wants to go for it, guess what? We're stepping up to the plate. We ain't going to shy away from a challenge. But yeah, when it comes to, the management of a game, I would say he's gotten better from last year to this year.
Austin's fantasy football show called Ekeler's Edge is on Yahoo Sports. Check it out. Tell us about the Austin Ekeler Foundation, man.
Yeah, man. So you can hear my passion in fantasy and just, the pursuit of opportunity, really. And what I really wanted to do was, in my pursuit of opportunity, hopefully leave this wake of opportunity behind me as well as I go and I continue to push myself. And so with the Austin Ekeler Foundation, that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're implementing resources back into the community all over the nation. And that, when I say resources, I mean things that help people get their life going, get their life on the right track. For instance, up in Watts, California, there was some elementary schools, 5 different schools that had a high population of, parents that were on, free and reduced lunch, assisted living out of the car. So they didn't have washers and dryers. They don't have clean clothes. So we put washers and dryers in those schools so they can do their laundry at schools. We implemented, different supplies like football supplies, school supplies, clothing, weight rooms, things that help people get started in their life, help people build these skills. Like people think, oh, a weight room, what is that going to do? Well, a weight room is going to help you learn physical toughness, mental toughness, work as a team, all these different skills that you can use in your entire life that are going to help you throughout your entire life. And the stronger you get at those skills, the more determined, the more you'll have some type of upward trajectory towards what you're trying to do in life. And then when you lack in those skills or you stop challenge yourself in those skills is when you find yourself consistent, looking for something, looking for excitement and not really seeing any growth in yourself. And so we're trying to put these, with all the money that comes in, I'm wearing the merch today, Be the Best You merch. You can find it at austinekeler.com. All the profits that go to that go back into resources that go back in the communities to help people be the best version of themselves.
You're doing great work, man. You're a good dude. We appreciate it. And we appreciate the time. Just quickly, of the 6 teams you have, like how many different, name your quarterbacks. Cause there's a question, a follow-up to that.
So I have Justin in one of them.
Right. Does he know that you have him? Justin?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't know I have him.
Okay.
I don't ever put that external pressure on anybody.
Right. Okay.
Justin, I have Lamar Jackson in one.
Right.
I have who's the guy for the Vikings?
Kirk Cousins, right?
Yep,
That's perfect. Who's the
Kirk
guy
Cousins.
for the Vikings? Yes. Right.
Kirk Cousins. I don't even remember the rest of them.
I'm wondering if you're playing against any of these guys and they have a big game. Do you ever give them like a attaboy or anything?
Never, man. If we win, maybe I'll be a little bit more susceptible to that. But then at the same time, they lost, so I know how they're feeling. So I never really bring it up. Look, it's a byproduct of us playing, and it's not necessarily built on us winning or losing. So it's always kind of like this weird conversation to have, especially after a game or during a game. So it's never a game time, conversation.
Ekeler, when you're done, you've got this figured out, man. Like there's a media career here, right? That's where you're headed.
I've thought about it. I really have. And I just want to make sure whatever I'm in, I'm very passionate about it so I can make sure I'm giving good value. And so we'll see. We will see, but right. Potentially, yes.
It's that or guitar, right?
Yeah, career. Yeah,
maybe both.
All right, man. Hey, we appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend against the Browns. We're all taking you. Check out his fantasy football show called Ekeler's Edge. It's on Yahoo Sports, and also help out with the Austin Ekeler Foundation. You're doing good work. You're a good man. You get it, man. You get it.
I appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you all bringing me on. Like it's things like this too, right? Having, just the effort to actually go on and looking forward to, speaking with people like yourselves and different media outlets, because guess where our legacy lives as players? It's in the fans, right? It's in the perception that people have of us. And so if you're not out there helping form that and expressing your values and what you're trying to do, it's up for interpretation. So how can you help that? And that's by going on shows like this. And so I appreciate you guys as well and looking forward to being back on.
All right, thanks. How do we make you a friend of the show? I was going to ask that. Like, you're such a good dude. You play guitar.
Look, man, like,
how do we make you a friend?
Whenever you guys want to have me on, yeah, reach out. And that's how it's gone. I have a few shows that I go on, pretty often. So just let us know.
All right, who do we work that out with? I just want to work it out with you. You want me to work it out with your publicist?
If you try to do it with me, it's not going to go as well. You got to talk to my team. Yeah, because they organize everything for me.
Okay, just remember this show. Okay, remember this show's called God Bless Football.
God Bless Football. Yep.
Okay, and whenever you're asked to do it, just I like those guys. I want to go on with them.
Okay,
right?
you guys have been great, man. I appreciate y'all.